Member for Nepean.
Thank you, Acting Speaker, and I will warn you this will be a very brief contribution on my part. I rise to speak on the Energy Legislation Amendment, Electricity Outage, Emergency Response and Other Matters Bill 2023, and I thank both those on the government side and the member for Croydon for his work in preparing us for the bill. And we know, as we've heard for the last couple of hours in the chamber, the main purpose of the bill are to amend the Electricity Industry Act 2000 and provide the Secretary to the Department of Energy, Environment and Climate Action with the power to direct distribution businesses to assist in emergency response and recovery to mitigate the impacts of prolonged electricity outages. And that's what I want to speak on, because for my community down on the Mornington Peninsula, and I'm sure the member for Hastings who's in the chamber, as well as the member for Mornington, both in June and in October when those storms came through, our communities were affected quite badly by the power being out. I remember not just along Point Nepean Road through Rosebud to Sorrento, my wife being at home with the twins and the power being out, and when you've got newborn twins in a house during winter, it's not ideal when you can't get power. But for those communities up through the hills, for example in Red Hill, when the power lines were down and they're living on tank water and bores and such where they need electricity just to have water, not just power to keep them warm, but the water as well. My community was deeply impacted by this, and some of the news articles that I have in front of me, I remember how bad it was and how long it took to clean up. But when you look through what happened in June, and as I said, looking at the articles in front of me, the memories that it brings back, and I'm sure when I raise it for those in my community, it'll bring back memories as well. But some of these houses out of power for weeks on end, and while this bill will mean that the power companies need to get the distribution back, a lot of them actually couldn't, even if that happened, get power back to their houses because their power meters on their side of the property had actually been damaged in the storms, and they had to get private electricians out to fix those before they could even get power back to their own house. The SES, Sorrento SES, along with the SES in Hastings as well, and all the CFAs, spent hours and hours and hours and literally hundreds or thousands of call-outs and calls and welfare checks on people to deliver generators, but also water and those essential needs. So while we will support this bill, and it's great that it's going to put the onus back onto the power companies to make sure the distribution side of things is taken care of, I more want to take this moment to reflect on what was a tough time for our communities, for those up in the hills as well, and just, I guess, remember a couple of years on the fantastic job that our SES, our CFAs did to get our communities up and running again. And I think that we hope these storms never come along again, but we know that these sort of things will. And when you have areas of your community that are more remote than others, there is going to be these type of events that will inevitably put our communities under the same pressure. So we will be supporting this bill, and I just want to say that when that does happen, we know we have some fantastic people on the peninsula, right from the top to the bottom, that will make sure that our communities are taken care of. And while we hope it doesn't happen again, we will always stand beside and do whatever we can to support our emergency crews and those people who are affected. So I thank everyone for, I guess in the House as well, for, almost everyone. I was going to refer to the Greens, but even though they're supporting... It's great that we can all support and agree on a bill, and we will be supporting it. And I just thank those emergency crews once again.